Hello folks, thanks for joining us once again. Tonight, it's another double dose of the old dart. In an hour from now, we rejoin Nick Rowan, Claude Jeremiah Greengrass and the whole cast of Heartbeat. In the meantime, we invite you to sit back and enjoy the charms of Britain. Now, this is an hour just packed with the sort of attractions that have people flocking back to visit the old country. The natural beauty, the people, the customs, the buildings. Of course, being an hour, it's a drop-in visit. We start at Land's End. We visit the beautiful Cotswolds, Bath, Stonehenge, the Lake District, beautiful, Gretna Green, and more. From castles to canals, it's an hour of fun, festivals, history, and of course, great characters. I think you'll really enjoy sharing the charms of Britain.
Our quest is to find the real heart and soul of Britain, a country of deep history. We'll look at the diversity of cultures in this country, from the Cornish and Welsh to the Scottish and English. And we'll look at new challenges, challenges to the monarchy, to the class system, as Britain enters the European community.
A good sword and a trusty hand, a merry heart and true. King James's men shall understand what Cornish men can do.
The British love their pub so much, they've built one at their most westerly peninsula, and our starting point, Land's End. We're beginning our British adventure in Cornwall, an area of majestic coastlines and an ancient culture, often recreated here at the Cliffside Minack Theatre.
Being Cornish is an attitude of mine, an attitude of life. It's not that we're any better than anybody else, just that we're different.
And who can argue? At Helston, I find them celebrating an ancient festival dating back over 1,000 years and conducted largely in Cornish.
Well, the first fires go back to pagan times. The pagans celebrated the high points of the year with bonfires. Beginning of summer, the beginning of winter, midsummer and midwinter.
Cornwall is rich with quaint fishing villages. Each has its own character and stories to tell.
This place, Mousehole, for instance, in the 16th century, was burned to the ground by the Spanish. So none of the buildings you see here are older than are pre-1560s.
So the Cornish people have managed to retain their own culture, haven't they?
Oh, very much indeed. The Cornish are Celts, you see. They're not Anglo-Saxons, and you will still find that the Cornish talk about going into England. It is virtually an island, and it is a culture island just as much as it's a geographic island.
Throughout Cornwall, I find there's a very strong revival of local traditions. Cornwall even has its own grand bard, George Ansell.
In the European context, there is a general movement of small nations reviving and being aware of their heritage, and Cornwall is part of this movement. There is a revival of the language, a revival of music, and people are taking a great interest in this. There is a demand for young people to learn the language and to learn about their heritage.
The Cornish language died out in everyday usage about 200 years ago, but nowadays it's an examination subject in schools, and in some kindergartens is the only language taught.
Hello. Taro in where?
Not all Cornish traditions date back centuries. The ceremony of the Gorsedd was inaugurated in 1928 with the aim of promoting national spirit. Dedicated promoters of the Cornish culture have donned their colourful garbs to take part in a day-long ceremony every year, in which they go through various rituals. The youngsters play an integral role in this ceremony.
The Cornish tartans are the only ones in the world to have the national flag in them. Our flag is black and white, St Piran's flag.
On display, a wide selection of Cornish artefacts.
Most people would associate tartans with Scotland.
But we are all Celts, and the Celts love very bright colours, and so therefore, you know, we have a Cornish tartans.
Part of the ceremony is not quite so genteel. Cornish wrestling is a favourite with the crowds.
The object is to lift your opponent and to drop him onto his back. Each corner of the back is classed as a pin. Now, the pins are what scores points. If 2 pins touches at the same time, that's classed as 2 points. If 3 or 4 pins touch the ground simultaneously, then that is classed as an outright win, as a back. In bygone days, wrestlers had to fight for a back. Those bouts used to last for over 24 hours. They'd stop for a meal, a couple of hours kip, and then back into the ring again.
Britain in the 1990s is a labyrinth of 6-lane motorways, but not so in this part of Cornwall. Here there's often barely room for 2 cyclists to pass, and you never quite know what's around the corner. I found this thriving farm, churning out the area's traditional drink, Cornish scrumpy cider. Now it looks like any other apple juice, but has a kick like a mule. The process of extracting the juice begins in this crusher. The juice flowing into open vats for bottling.
Scrumpy, I'm told, is by far the most potent drink made here in Britain, is that right?
Potent and popular, yes.
What makes it so powerful?
It's the way we make it. A little secret we've had it for generations, really, the old scrumpy. Made with apples, sugar. Sugar gives it the alcohol, you see. Yeast fermenting sugar.
Now, I notice you're not drinking any here. Is that sort of a cop-out? Is it a bit too powerful?
No, I've seen the results before. We always say legless but smiling, so we'll see.
Now, the process employed here is not mechanised at all. It's, what, an age-old fashion?
It's a rustic, traditional cider-making company. We're tiny compared to someone like Bulmer's, but we have our own little market. A niche here. It's rural Cornwall, county, and we do it the way we've always done it. It's successful, and so why change it? Apples grown here, pressed here, fermented here, bottled here, everything here.
No trip to Cornwall is complete without visiting St Michael's Mount. Built in 1135 as a Benedictine priory, it's also served as a church and a fortress. Since 1641, it's been the home of the St Alban family. When the tide is out, it's possible to walk to the mount along a concrete causeway. But come high tide, the crossing poses a new element of adventure. At the end of quite a climb, I meet up with Lord St Levan, the current custodian.
Lord St Levan?
Hello, welcome. Very nice to see you.
It's quite some climb you've got down there.
Yes, it is. 230 feet. The sea is at the top of the church tower.
But this, in fact, is a natural mountain up here?
Yes, it's natural rock. It used to be in the middle of the forest, 12 miles inland, and then there was a sea flood, probably about 2000 BC, and it's been an island ever since.
Now, you're the custodian of this building, even though it is under the National Heritage listing, is it not?
Well, it belongs to the National Trust for a place of historic interest and natural beauty. But we are the custodians. We look after it for them.
Obviously, some of these wings are private, others are open to the public.
Yes, all the old part of the castle is open to the public. There was a newer part of the castle built in 1877 for my great-great-grandfather. He had 11 children, so he wanted more room. That part of the castle is leased to us. It's leased to us actually for 1,000 years. And if any member of the family is alive in the next 1,000 years, they'll be living here.
Good sword and a trusty hand, a merry heart and true. King James's men shall understand what Cornish lads can do.
Scenes like this make it easy to understand why people in this part of Britain are so proud of their heritage and determined to see that it survives for future generations. Part of the English mainland they may be, but that doesn't stop them from being very much Cornish at heart. Wales, so lush and evergreen, and home of a fiercely proud people. Most of them would like to be completely independent from England. This is a country within a country, a land rich in contrasts and culture.
Well, I suppose that I am rather biased because I'm a Welshman myself, and I think there is no other nation on the face of the earth that are exactly like the Welsh. But we're steeped in our culture, we're steeped in our religion generally, and it becomes a part and parcel of us, of our life and of our living.
The Royal National Eisteddfod is a competitive festival of music, dance, drama and literature, as well as fine art. This annual event stretches over 10 days, attracts 150,000 visitors, and has evolved from the bardic tournaments of the 10th century. During these, poets and musicians would compete against each other for a seat of honour in the households of noblemen. Nearly a quarter of the Welsh population now speak Welsh, and the number is growing. The Eisteddfod is a celebration of this, but when I asked the Grand Bard for an interview, he was happy to oblige, as long as we spoke in Welsh.
The
Welsh have their own television and radio programmes which are extremely popular, and a number of local singers with a sizable following.
Do you sing country and western in Welsh?
Yes.
I'd love to hear a song. Can we hear one?
Okay, right.
Another Welsh tradition is coracle making. This art dates back to the times of the Romans, who used to make their coracles with animal skin. Nowadays, calico is preferred.
I've been building coracles for the last 25 years.
Yeah, dyeing art?
Oh, dyeing art now,
Why is that? More a novelty, more a gimmick these days, is it?
Yes. New stuff today, fiberglass, and nobody's going to the trouble of making an old craft like this, isn't it? So you can make an easier one.
Now, the coracles we're going to watch here today, you have built most of those?
Yes, most of them.
There wouldn't be too many coracle builders around these days?
No, not much.
They're easily transportable, but for the uninitiated, not so easy to steer. Coracle fishermen operate in pairs. Here on the River Teivi, they demonstrate just how easy it is to catch salmon. From one of the smallest boats in the world to one of the smallest houses. We've all heard the phrase, too small to swing a cat in. Well, this could well be the house it refers to.
It was built in 1589, and it was owned by my family. None of them ever lived in it. They just let it out to tenants. And the last tenant was a fisherman who was 6'3" tall.
And he lived in this small room?
He lived here, yes.
And the small bedroom upstairs?
He lived here 15 years. Well, a married couple lived here before that, and they put a mattress on the floor upstairs.
Unbelievable. So they've got their bedroom there, they've got...
This is everything. It's kitchen, bathroom, there's a tap behind the stairs there. They kept the coal here for the fire. Fireplace is here, cooked on the fire.
If nothing else, they'll be nice and warm in
Nice
the
and
depths
warm
of winter.
and cosy, yes, yes.
Right next to the harbour here.
That's right, yes.
But very, very squashed.
Oh, very, very. But you see, they didn't have possessions in those days like we have them. They didn't even have tin foods to store, so life was very simple, wasn't it, really?
Dominating the skyline over this miniature dwelling is Conwy's famous castle. Built in the 13th century by the English to help prevent further attacks from the Welsh, it was originally whitewashed, probably to make it more impressive looking.
Obviously, if we repainted it white today, there'd be a massive outcry, but the castle was, yes, white. There are still patches of the lime wash around. For, you know, any attackers would be sort of worried, you know, about the size of it and how impressive it looked.
Conwy is easy enough to pronounce, but the same can't be said for all Welsh names.
Hello and welcome to
Mastering the Welsh language is difficult at the best of time, but just try saying this. This is Wales' longest town name, the town name that goes forever, 58 letters in all. I can only just manage the last few letters here, go, go, go. But let's hear from experts in this town.
And the village name is derived from lots of different sites in the area, and a lot of people visit us. We have just over 500,000 visitors a year come through here to see us from all over the world.
Tell me this though, is there a shortcut for the name? Is there a brief version?
Well, we do allow that, yes. It's just Llanfair Pwll Gwyngyll.
Even that's long.
Well, it's less than the 58 letters anyway.
In the age of the high-speed express, steam trains are alive and well in Britain, and nowhere more healthy than in Wales. There are a number of both standard and narrow gauge railways which have been lovingly restored by enthusiasts, most of them completely unpaid. The Tallylyn narrow gauge railway has been operating since 1865. Nowadays, although it's a tourist attraction, it's also used by many of the locals.
We run it as a proper railway, even though we're all volunteers and, you know, we do it as a hobby. It is run really seriously.
The Tallylyn railway was originally built to transport slate from local mines. Modern equipment has taken over from pick and shovel to mine the raw material. But I did discover one task where manpower reigns supreme. Each slate is split by hand. Now, it might look easy, but it takes years of practice. And after a hard day's work, many of these slate experts like to congregate in the local pub. They love their beer and they love their singing. Clinging to a cliffside in Devon, the seaside village of Clovelly.
It's the loveliest village in the world, as far as I'm concerned. There's nowhere quite like Clovelly. And if you're born here, you learn to walk on the cobbles, and it just grows on you. And you feel it's a privilege to live here. It's very precious.
And precious it is. Clovelly is certainly unique. Its central thoroughfare plunges downwards through the middle of its quaint cottages, making travel by car impossible. Provisions are dragged down on wooden sledges, and donkeys are used for the uphill journey. There's a wonderful atmosphere in Clovelly, and all the local inhabitants are very friendly. Devon also boasts that it has its own Riviera. In place of Cannes, Nice and Saint-Tropez, Read Torquay, Paynton and Brixham, all highly popular summer holiday resorts for the British masses. Brixham has been a fishing port for over 900 years and has always proved a popular haven for artists.
We've got a natural harbour here which is paintable. 6 months a year it is fishing and locals. Would you believe 14,000 troops and 400 ships came into this bay and landed? Prince William of Orange was the person who came and took the English throne.
Nowadays, as testament to its maritime history, the replica of Sir Francis Drake's Golden Hind is moored here. We've travelled to Bath, famous for its Georgian architecture and its links with the Romans. Along with Rome and Florence, Bath is listed as a World Heritage City, making it unique. The Romans constructed this city as an R&R resort for their soldiers. Between the 1st and 5th centuries, they built a huge covered bathhouse around natural hot springs, which we now know contain over 40 different minerals. Although the roof over the main bath is gone, the building is still in remarkable condition.
It's likely that the springs would have been well known before the Romans came to Britain.
Yeah.
And they simply found or came to this hottest spring in Britain and established here an enormous temple and bathing complex.
Now, the water from one spring, at least, we just poured this quite hot water,
yes, that's right.
is clean enough to drink.
Oh, yes.
And, in fact, is supposed to be, what, health-giving?
Oh, that's through the centuries, it's been noted for its health-giving properties.
Well, that's what you call an original mineral water, eh?
That's right, yes. Charles Dickens spent some time in Bath, and he describes it as having the taste of warm flat irons. And that slightly metallic taste of the water, I think, is quite a good description of it, really.
But it wasn't only the Romans who left their mark in Bath. The Georgians were responsible for its many fine terraces. The most famous is the Royal Crescent, built by John Wood the Younger between 1767 and 1774.
It was a rule that all the doors and indeed the blinds and any other paintwork on the facade of this crescent had to be painted white. The house was owned by a Lady Wellesley, who insisted on painting her door this rather nice primrose yellow. And this caused such outrage that questions were asked in the House of Commons. In the end, she won her case and the right to paint her door yellow. And nowadays, if anyone were to actually own this house and paint the door white, there would probably be the same outcry. The Royal Crescent Bath is one of the most famous addresses in Europe, and certainly as far as that goes, it means that you have to be a little bit careful about your decoration.
Nearby is the Circus, designed by John Wood the Elder. Constructed in 3 sections, the houses form a circle facing a central green. Right throughout the United Kingdom, there are examples of architecture through the ages. Longleat is one of the finest houses of Elizabethan design. Completed around 1580, it's the ancestral home of the Thin family. Colonel Kenneth Ferrier is the current custodian and our guide today.
A splendid estate, a quarter of what it used to be. But sadly, after the war, death duties meant that the house had to be, the retraction had to take place, and now it's 10,000 odd acres of farmland and parkland.
You'd call that a small property here in England?
In England, that's a large property in anybody's language. The rooms that the public see particularly are displayed in the way they would have been displayed at the time the house was built. The Tudor decor of the house exists only in the one large hall, the Great Hall down below. The other rooms have been modified in the 19th century mainly by the 4th Marquess, and he introduced this Italian decor, which you can see around.
Hello there.
Hello. Can you get on there?
I'll jump on, eh? That's Christine, is it?
Yeah.
You're John?
Yeah.
Pleased to meet you.
So much history, it's time to take stock. And what better way than on a slow boat through Shropshire? Our journey by narrow boat is along the Langlockland Canal.
we going to collide there, John?
I think we were, yes. Very near miss, that.
And so it's here in the idyllic British countryside where you find people on boats measured by the number of Aran sweaters they have and the amount of real ale they can drink before falling over.
Like steam railways, narrowboat travel along Britain's many canals has enjoyed a renaissance in recent years. Hundreds of kilometres have been reclaimed from dereliction and are once again working waterways. In the 1990s, most of the cargo is human. It's a popular holiday activity, and during the high season, as many as 300 barges ply up and down this stretch of water every week. Stonehenge, this strange structure, was probably constructed as a place of worship, although what religion it served is unclear. The stones are huge, up to 9 metres long and 50 tonnes in weight. To this day, historians are baffled as to how the builders transported these stones to their current location. Now, 4,000 years after these giant stones were set in place, the level of active interest in them is reaching new proportions. On the longest day of each year, thousands of Druids used to converge on Salisbury for a day of dedication to the sun god. These days, police close off this big area of Salisbury, banning the Druids and New Agers from desecrating Stonehenge and its surrounds. The English countryside turns on a host of visual treats as I travel towards my next destination, London, to encounter another historic relic. The legendary Spitfire, which played such a vital role in the Battle of Britain, is being remembered at a nostalgic airfair at Biggin Hill, the very airbase from which these planes took off for their World War II dogfights. 1992 saw the closure of the airfield as an operational RAF base, but the show will continue to be staged here. I was fortunate enough to see the last Vulcan in action. The Delta Wing V-bomber went up so steeply that its jets burnt a hole in the runway. The demonstrations include some amazing aerobatics by the pilot of this French-made Cap 231. The airframe is designed to withstand speeds of nearly 400 kilometres an hour, meaning he can toss it around like a toy. The top guns from the military display teams also show off their skills. Here they're passing within metres of one another. But the biggest thrill for me is the appearance of these legendary tiger moths. Most of the aviators are professional airline pilots, like Steve Bonhill-Smith, who's normally at the controls of the Concorde.
Really, it's the two ends of the aviation spectrum, 1,450 miles an hour to 50 miles an hour.
Just how much life have these old tiger moths got, do you think?
Well, this one is 50 years old. They really could go on forever. It's just a matter of rebuilding them and keeping them airworthy, replacing spares. Spares are actually quite easy to get hold of because there were so many built in the war. and they go on for a good many years yet.
Cambridge, one of the most famous university cities in the world, and without doubt, one of the most beautiful. And this is the way to see Cambridge.
There is simply no more pleasurable way of seeing Cambridge than by punt, if you can do it properly, that is. 3.5 million visitors come to this university city every year. More than too much, say the local tourist authorities.
We want the right sort of tourists to come.
What's the right sort and the wrong sort?
The ones that really want to come here and really want to appreciate it, not the ones that are sort of being taken here, usually groups of very young people who have no particular interest in Cambridge, but it's just part of their itinerary.
So what do you like about Cambridge so much?
I like it very much because it's so cosmopolitan. There are people from all over the world here, and also it's said to be the most beautiful university town in the world, which I hope you will realize as we hunt along.
Cambridge has been a seat of learning for the last 8 centuries. Gliding along like this is like cruising through history. The King's Chapel here, for instance, was founded in 1441 by Henry VI. In a busy Britain, there's a special tranquility about Cambridge. It's a nature lover's paradise here in the Lake District, a place where hill walkers find abundant beauty and tranquility. The soft hills and woodlands that surround these Great Lakes make this Britain's most visited area of natural beauty.
It's a challenge. It's a balancing act to keep that pressure and all the things that go with it right, out, all the way out and all the way back. And every time I get back, I thank my little guardian angel with his steam-powered wings that we've pulled it off again. There's something about... And the smell, of course, of the wood that we use for fuel and the oil.
Because Osprey is a bit of history in itself, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yes, yes. That engine is 90 years old this year. And when you think that's miles, but you see, these Victorians, we say they over-engineered, but that's not a criticism, that's a compliment. So she's slow revving, she's big bearing, she's bathed in oil. I'm sure it'll go another 90 years.
What about you?
Oh, I'm going to, because I keep well oiled, I'll go another 90 years as well, I hope. Oh, I had the best one on. In the corner.
The launches on Windermere were built specifically for the very wealthy. There weren't so much working boats. On Windermere, it was specifically the wealthy's boat. And they had standards that hadn't anywhere else, not even on the Thames. The Thames had very nice launches, but silence wasn't their thing, and cleanliness also wasn't their thing. But the Windermere boats had to be able to be used by ladies in white dresses, and the noise of the engine had to be absolutely just not there at all.
every single boat you see is different. They've all got different backgrounds. There's some that are very, very old. Dolly, the black and white one in the museum's 1850. We've got boats that are here that are less than 6 months old. There's all sorts of different people from all over the country and all over the world that are taking part in events like this.
Scotland. History shows that many a young couple fled to this land of bagpipers to get married just over the border here at Gretna Green. Up until 1940, anyone could come here and get married in the Gretna Green's blacksmith shop or several other places in town. Many did, more often than not without their parents' permission.
As my lawful wife.
As my lawful wife.
Are now husband and wife. Congratulate your bride.
Today, couples first have to go through a normal registry office ceremony, and only then can they take part in the famous marriage over the anvil.
I performed the traditional Gretna Green anvil wedding ceremony. I call the two ceremonies that the couple have the marriage of the law and here the marriage of the heart. And as I often say, if the heart isn't involved, a marriage has very little chance, whatever piece of paper you've been given. Up to 1940, to stand here and affirm your vows was a legal, totally legal marriage. Having so reaffirmed in this place your commitment to each other for the rest of your lives, I very gladly pronounce you to be husband and wife. You may kiss your bride. Now you're really married. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am asked one question more than any other. Here is the answer. We call this golden memory time. 1, 2.
Kilts were very much in evidence at the Crieff Highland Games, the final stop in this stage of our journey around Scotland. The caber weighs around 70 kilograms, is around 6 metres long, and the idea is to flip it completely over, rather them than me. All this caber throwing whets my appetite for Scotland's grand mystery, the monster of Loch Ness. The ruins of Urquhart Castle on the shores of Loch Ness. If only walls could talk, perhaps they'd have a tale or two to tell about the loch's most famous inhabitant. The Loch Ness Monster, is it fact or fantasy? Steve Feltham takes it all so seriously that he sold his house to become a full-time monster hunter.
I move around the loch all the time, up and down, in a big old mobile library, hunting for it wherever I can, and getting eyewitnesses that do see things when I'm somewhere else and it's seen, getting those sightings, getting those sightings and making them public so that people realise that it's being seen here. Don't know what it is. There's something to be explained, there's something big living in there, but there's not enough evidence to say what that thing is. It might be a plesiosaur, it might be a giant sturgeon, it might be a being from another planet, we don't know. We know there's enough evidence to say there's something big living in there, that's all we know.
Urquhart Castle may be only a ruin, but Inverary Castle on Loch Fyne in the southwestern Highlands is very much alive. Built in 1741, it's the ancestral home of the 12th Duke of Argyll, chief of the Clan Campbell. Although the house is open to the public for part of the year, the Duke and Duchess live here and consider it very much a family home. Although in historical terms Inverary Castle is fairly modern, the Duke's family has been residing in this area for over 1,000 years. His own ancestral history is all around him.
These were last fired in that battle?
In 1745? Well, no, they weren't. In fact, my wife is a vice president of the Muzzle Loader Society, and 95% of them are, in fact, in working order. What is terribly interesting with these, and they were used up to the very end of World War II in some parts of the world. They're muzzle loading, in other words, black powder, a lead ball. And if in battle you were hit by that ball, it was really very, very bad luck.
The Duke also continues an old family tradition. Every day except Sunday, the family is woken to the sound of bagpipes.
Rather nicer than a digital Japanese alarm clock.
Fascinating wake-up call.
Yes. Very pleasant.
Our visit to Scotland finishes in Edinburgh. The Lone Piper is closing the Edinburgh military tattoo, the final chapter in our bid to discover the charm of Britain.
Scotland the Brave!
Next, the celebrated series Heartbeat. Tonight, Nick pursues drunken hikers and a flasher while Kate encounters some nasty abuse. The acclaimed series Heartbeat next. Then from the Gabba, the Brisbane Lions and Port Adelaide in 7's AFL.
What a good hour. And remember, if you see a travel agent on Monday, you can still be there in time for a white Christmas. Stay with us. Heartbeat, episode 2, comes up in just a moment. Next Saturday night, complete change at 6:30. We're going ape as we look at the various primates on the planet, from the lemurs of Madagascar right through to what some people say are our closest relatives, the chimpanzees. It's called Going Ape, another of the survival series, next Saturday night at 6:30. Do hope I'll see you then, and with Kay for 7 News on Monday night. In the meantime, good night.